Some stories are whispered around campfires. Others are carved into the bones of old villages, lurking in the soil, waiting for the right season to rise again. Welcome, my fearless friends, to a journey into the shadowy heart of folk horror, that strange, intoxicating brew of myth, superstition, and blood-soaked tradition. These aren't your typical jump-scare factory flicks. These are nightmares rooted deep in the land. The kind that feel older than the stars and twice as cold. Tonight, we descend into 10 of the most haunting folk horror visions from 2023 and 2024, tales of cursed fields, forgotten rituals, restless dead, and the hungry dark between the trees. So, take my hand, but don't wander off the path. Number 10. The Hermit, 2025. Tonight, we wander into the shadowy legends of the American wilderness with The Hermit, 2025, a film whose official release date remains uncertain. Possibly shown only in limited screenings or film festivals, making trailers and details frustratingly elusive for most horror fans.
What was that?
This film wraps the rural American legend of the reclusive woodsman in layers of paranoia and primal fear. Director Salvatore Sclafani doesn't just give us a killer in the woods. He gives us a place where the trees seem complicit, where the soil hums with secrets, and where the isolation becomes a character in its own right. It's got the mood of the Blair Witch Project but with a sharper, almost predatory patience. The cinematography makes you feel trapped in the forest with no compass, no signal, and something breathing just out of sight. For me, it's a rugged, eerie 8 out of 10. The kind of horror that lingers like a splinter you can't quite dig out. Number 9. Out of Darkness, The Origin, 2024. Long before the age of cities and steel, there were gods made of stone and fear. Out of Darkness drags us to that unforgiving time. And trust me, there's no comfort fire waiting. Director Andrew Cumming delivers a prehistoric nightmare drenched in mud, ritual, and survival instinct. The film imagines early humans facing a force that feels less like a beast and more like an ancient belief made flesh. The way it merges primal superstition with physical, bone-cracking danger reminded me of The Descent if it were set in the Stone Age. Sparse dialogue, oppressive sound design, and the brutal indifference of nature create a sense that the earth itself is watching and judging. I'd give it a savage 8.5 out of 10, a rare, atmospheric gem that feels older than fear itself. Number 8. Handling the Undead, 2024. When the dead return, it's never really for our benefit. Handling the Undead takes that truth and plays it with a note so cold it feels like winter in your lungs. Norwegian director Thea Havistendal crafts a quiet, frostbitten folk tale about grief, resurrection, and the wrongness of what comes back. This isn't your shuffling zombie apocalypse. It's a deeply human horror where the dead are still themselves, but not quite. Think Let the Right One in meets Pet Sematary, but with the patience of a funeral hymn. The beauty of the film is how it makes the supernatural feel like a natural disaster, unstoppable, impersonal, and quietly devastating. For me, it's a haunting 9 out of 10, an elegy with teeth. Number 7. The Moor, 2024. Some landscapes feel alive, and some don't like you. The Moor plants us in one of the latter.
She remembers is dark.
Set in the damp, endless sprawl of Yorkshire's wetlands, Chris Cronin's film follows an investigation into a crime that dredges up something much older. The moors here aren't just background, they're a labyrinth, a trap, and maybe a mouth. The mix of procedural mystery and pagan dread reminded me of True Detective Season 1. If it had been written by M.R. James. It's a slow burn, but the kind where you don't notice how deep you've gone until the fog closes in behind you. I'd call it a chilling 8.5 out of 10. A reminder that some crimes have witnesses you'd never want to meet. Number 6. Star of Acre, 2024. In the countryside, some fields refuse to grow anything except nightmares.
Where is he?
Daniel Kokotajlo adapts the novel into a bleak, gorgeous meditation on grief, folklore, and the thin skin between worlds. The cursed field at Starve Acre is more than a location, it's a wound in the land. And the story unspools like a long, mournful folk song. The creeping unease reminded me of The Witch, but with the emotional devastation of Hereditary. The balance of stark rural imagery and otherworldly menace makes it feel like a ghost story passed down through generations. I'd give this sorrow-soaked tale a 9 out of 10, beautiful, brutal, and unforgettable. Number 5. The Piper, 2023. You've heard the fairy tale. Now hear it scream.
What happens if you finish?
Erlingor Thoroddsen twists the legend of the Pied Piper into something modern, sinister, and uncomfortably plausible. Here, the music isn't just enchanting, it's a curse, a compulsion, a promise that can't be broken without blood. The urban meets folklore setting keeps the story fresh, and the sound design alone could raise goosebumps in daylight. It's got the sinister charm of Candyman but with the eerie inevitability of a Grimm's tale told at midnight. For me, it's a hypnotic 8 out of 10, a melody you'll wish you could forget. Number 4. Baghead, 2023. Some faces aren't meant to be worn. Alberto Corredor delivers a claustrophobic chiller where grief meets the supernatural, and the supernatural has rules. Based on his short film, Baghead spins a European legend about summoning the dead, at a cost. The basement setting becomes its own underworld, and the performances sell the moral weight of every choice the characters make. It recalls the autopsy of Jane Doe in its intimacy and dread. But with its own gritty, handmade feel, I'd mark it at a tense, unnerving 8 out of 10, a seance you'll wish you hadn't attended. Number 3. Lord of Misrule, 2023. Harvest festivals aren't all pie and cider. Sometimes they're blood and bone.
I know my graces.
William Brent Bell's Lord of Misrule drops us into a rural village whose smiling traditions hide something ancient and predatory. There's a Wicker Man-esque flavor here, but with a darker, almost feral energy. The golden fields and rustic rituals are filmed with such warmth that the inevitable descent into nightmare hits harder. It's a sharp look at how communities can weaponize belief, and how faith can be twisted into something carnivorous. I'd call it a harrowing 8.5 out of 10. A feast where you might be the main course.
You will give us great miracles.
Number 2. The Unheard, 2023. When silence is broken, be careful what you hear.
Everything.
Jeffrey A. Brown's The Unheard merges supernatural horror with the isolating experience of hearing loss, creating a soundscape that's as unsettling as the story itself. It's a film that plays with perception, both ours and the protagonist, until you can't tell what's real and what's just the mind filling in terrifying blanks. The mix of folklore whispers and invasive dread puts it in the same chilling family as The Ring. For me, it's a tense 8.5 out of 10, an eerie reminder that not all voices belong to the living.
It's getting worse.
What are you hearing right now?
Number 1. Enys Men, 2023. The land remembers, and sometimes, it speaks.
Hello?
Mark Jenkins' Enys Men is pure, undiluted folk horror, slow, meditative, and utterly unshakable, set on a remote Cornish island. It's a hallucinatory loop of isolation, ritual, and the uncanny, rendered in grainy, dreamlike 16mm film. The atmosphere is oppressive yet hypnotic, and the wait time blurs feels like the sea itself has pulled you under. It's not a jump scare machine, it's a creeping possession of the mind. I'd give it a hypnotic 9 out of 10, a ghost story told by the wind. And you're not sure if it's still telling it to you after the credits.
Not really.
And there you have it, 10 visions of folk horror, each rooted in soil, superstition, and the shadows between the trees. They remind us that fear isn't always about what's new, sometimes it's about what's been here all along. Watching, these stories carry the weight of centuries, and they whisper the same warning: the land has a memory, and it never forgets its dents. So, tell me, when the wind howls tonight, Will you hear just the storm, or something older, calling your name?